right, so we're back here on another Couch Coach Live. Got a special guest in the building, my guy D Hop from the Spotlight Raiders Talk. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? How you feeling about your your given, not earned W? How
Hey,
you feeling about that, man? How
I'm
you
okay.
feeling,
I'm,
man?
I'm okay, man. Hey, I'm here. I'm loving the win streak, and then what a what a crazy finish of that game. One of the things I look at from the standpoint that it shouldn't even got to that point, honestly, because just the simple fact we had so much points that was left off that board. So
Right, right.
yeah, I totally understand, man, to be on the other end and the jersey pool. I put it that way.
Yeah, that was blatantly a PI. And come on, you got. I know y'all won the game, and the game is over. But admit that
I
was a
mean,
PI.
if somebody tugged on Jerry on Terry McLaurin on one of my guys' jerseys, I've been kind of crying a little foul too. I ain't gonna front. Hey,
I mean,
it
it
is
was
what it is.
blatant though. It was blatant. I understand that if you was close to him and you didn't see the actual stretch of the jersey, that's
Yeah.
fine. But I mean,
Hey.
you saw
Yeah.
the stretch of the jersey. Come on,
Right.
it's
And
all
yeah,
love.
I know, right? Hey, it is what it is. But yeah, man. So obviously, you know, guys did take that loss on Sunday
Mhm.
against the Washington football team. Now
Yeah.
6-6. Your thoughts on the game? Besides the missed PI call potentially. Yeah.
The Raiders just as a team didn't play up to their potential.
Yeah.
We even without knowing Henry Ruggs is gone for the year. We don't have no 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 Waller was not there. We really didn't have an offensive line all year. So basically the team just played mediocre. The defense played good all three quarters into the fourth quarter. And then, like I said in my morning show, that I'm a big fan of Taylor Heineke. I think Taylor Heineke should be the starter in the future for the Washington football team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But overall, the game turned out to be good. Derek Carr, only had 10 incompletions, but he stuck in that pocket against a good front four without y'all got Montez Sweat or a Chase Young. And he stood in that pocket. He had 10 incompletions. He was 28 of 38. But it was just a lot of missed throws that Carr had that I wish he could have looked at as well. So it's a lot of factors that come into this loss, even though that we didn't get the PI, even though the ref has some hideous calls here, especially the one on Jonathan Abram. I just didn't understand that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was going after the tackler, like he wasn't really going after your offensive alignment. I don't know what type of call that was on a defensive player. Like what can you do in the NFL right now? So my
Right.
thing is this, like, the Raiders has been very up and down this year. We look good against the Cowboys. We come back and we ish the bed with the Washington football team, and it just got to be better, man. It just have to be better. What's up, Jordan Long? Jordan Long, I
Yeah.
gotta link
Yeah.
up with you, brother, because you're a
Yeah.
Broncos fan. But
Yeah.
at least we competed. Unlike y'all got smoked on Sunday Night Football. I mean, that
Yeah.
was yeah.
Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible. But yeah, like you said, that game it was interesting. Like you said, um, like we talked about it on our Watch the Football cast, the post game, and we was talking about like, as far as we kind of knew that Hunter Winter was going to have a game, but we can
Mhm.
live with that type of situation. Like you said, not having that's pretty much a deep threat. Also, when they're having Waller in that
Yeah.
game as well. But to me, I think to even hold you guys 15, I was really kind of like shocked that
Mhm.
we got to that point. I figured, hey, a game be in the 20s. I definitely think that we could hold, especially Derek Carr, who's leading the league
In passing.
in passing. So to me, I figured, hey, this could be kind of somewhat of a situation where it could potentially be a shootout. We kind of envisioned it even in our pregame show about that. But yeah, just another, like you said, another tough, gritty win for this team for Washington. But yeah, so
And let's not forget, Del Rio was the head coach here. He knows Derek
yeah,
Carr.
yep, and that's what that's what we was talking about as far as how you think about it, the success of the Raiders post 2003, that Super Bowl run. They only had
It was
that
that
one
it was that
that
2016 year
yep,
with Rio.
yep. Yeah, well, that was their successful season, and honestly, if it weren't for
Yeah.
Derek Carr to get hurt, I mean,
Who
bless
knows?
Connor, bless Connor Cook, but he just didn't get the job done. But like you said,
Right.
it's just that's another thing too, where he was a guy that was there. And I thought he was going to turn that team around, but obviously we know how 2017 kind of went, and then he was let go. But yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely he was another one that that we looked at as far as kind of a factor in this game. We always talk about the return. Like Ron going back to Carolina a few weeks back, and then now Jack Del Rio, even though they were in Oakland at the time, but
Yeah.
the same premise still lies,
Yeah.
still his former
So and he had
team.
the same quarterback then, and what we have now. So
Yep,
yeah, I'm kind of one of those guys that I felt as though Jack Del Rio should never got fired, but
yep.
that's another story for another time.
But I'm glad he here with us. But I know I did too. I was like, especially after that, when you said that one successful year, and then when kind of it went downhill the next year. I hate that they do that to these coaches where it's just like, it's what have you done for me lately business, but
Mm-hmm.
he should have had an opportunity to kind of ride that
To
ship.
bounce back. But
Yeah,
I think the reason why that Del Rio was fired because the year we went 12-4, our offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave,
yeah,
Jack Del Rio fired him after we went 12-4.
yeah,
So I mean, if you're an owner and a GM and you want to get rid of an offensive coordinator that made your quarterback almost an MVP caliber quarterback
pretty
and only
much.
had 4 losses on the year and you get rid of him, then that's an issue.
It's gonna raise some
That's an issue.
eyebrows.
But I think he should have, even though we won 6-10 the following year, I think he still should have had a chance to bounce back from that 6-10 year.
Absolutely, yeah. So at 6-6, what the guys thinking as far as guys gonna make the playoffs?
I mean, the Buffalo Bills did lose last night, so
Yeah,
that kind of helped us in some instance. But I'm just not realistically thinking that we're not. I mean, if you look at our remaining schedule, we still got to play the Broncos again. We still got to play the Chargers again. We still got to play the Chiefs. And then we got to play Indianapolis. That's another hot team that's on the outside looking in. And then you have a Cleveland team that's in a tough division with the AFC North. So all those games are tough. The only game I probably see us winning is probably Cleveland. It's a possibility that we could beat the Chargers, but if we look this way, against what we look like in the Giants game, what we look like in this game, I don't see us winning any more games. Honestly, I'm just being a realistic Raider fan. People could say what they want. Oh, if we win out, I would love for us to win out. But the Kansas City Chiefs, we got to go to KC this week. I don't see that as a win. I just don't. So playoff implications is very, very doubtful. A lot of things going to have to happen for us to get in.
yeah, and like you said, Buffalo kind of helped as well too in that regard. But the thing about it is, at least down the stretch, you got teams that are pretty much in the same position as you are. Like you look at
Mhm.
Cleveland there, Indianapolis, they're kind
Mhm.
of skirting their way in, and that's the thing. If you have those, if you can take care of business, then it's
I'm really concerned
it
about
potentially.
those divisional games though, like with
Yeah,
the Broncos. Then the
yeah,
Chargers just beating the Bengals this weekend. Even though the Broncos lost to Kansas City, they still in it because there's really nobody in our division that has the real runaway with this division. Even though the Chiefs have 8 wins, but the Chargers right behind them with 7 wins.
right.
So they still got to play each other again. So it's with the AFC West, it's up in the air for anyone to take the division at this point.
Yeah, big time, big time. So I asked you the $1 million question: is Derek Carr the long term solution for this team?
I want him to be the long-term solution for this team. But I'm gonna say it like I said on every other live stream, the Raider Nation do not appreciate Derek Carr. And if I am Derek Carr, I would not want to be a Raider next season. And I'm just being as a Raiders fan, I'm just being real. I love me some Derek Carr. Yes, Derek Carr hasn't done a lot in the 8 years that he was here. But if you look at the 8 years that he was here, name a top tier wide receiver outside of Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper and Nelson Aguilar and Al Wade in 8 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
what the Raiders have done for Derek Carr to be successful in a lot of a lot of Raider fans are like, oh, it's time to get rid of Carr, bring in Mariota. It's time to get rid of Derek Carr this way and that way. While even though that he's leading the league in passing, you still want to get rid of Derek Carr. So if I am Derek Carr right now, knowing his contract is up in 2023, I would say try to get out of there after this season and go somewhere where you're appreciated and you want to win. And I mean, I love Derek Carr. I think he's a top 10 quarterback in his league. Probably not top 5, but he's top 10. He's damn near up there. You could put him at 6 or 7. But it's just the Raider Nation. They want him gone because he missed a lot of throws, and Deshaun Jackson was wide open a few times in this game. Zay Jones was wide open a few times in this game. But all quarterbacks do it. All elite quarterbacks do it. And people just say, oh, Carr just have to be this perfect quarterback. I would love for him to be the solution, but the Raiders fans is going to run him out of here. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing too. And it's funny because we ran a stat on the Thanksgiving game where Derek Carr was on the verge of hitting 30,000 passing yards. And it was almost, I think in less than 125 starts, he joined elite company like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and it's like himself. And that's another thing too, where when you say as far as not being appreciated, and I think that's a league thing as well too. Because when I heard that stat, I was like, you would think that would be something that would be celebrated. I know it was
Right.
if there were other quarterbacks in that same type of statistical category, they would blow that up. So
yeah, I'm telling you, if y'all ever come to the Spotlight Raiders Talk live streams Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 5 to 7, I'm telling you right now, those Raiders fans they want Derek Carr out because they think Derek Carr plays defense, they think Derek Carr plays wide receiver, they think Derek Carr plays the offensive line. Everything is the reason why we're 6-6 is because of Derek Carr, and that's not the case. This team just does not look great. Overall, including with Derek Carr. Sometimes Derek Carr has bad games. Sometimes Derek Carr has some great games that makes him number 1 in the league. But the fans just don't appreciate him. It's sad.
But yeah, and like you said, it's just one of the things we're here. But yep. Yeah, and it's funny because even talking about watching football, guys, the show I do, and we always talk about like as far as what if, and we think about because we've been kind of going back as far as our quarterback play, so we've been kind of like, all right, should we look at Derek Carr? Because we even flirted with the idea like, well, if the price is right, then yeah, go for it.
I say go forward too. I mean, he has the weapons. He has a great running back. Your offensive line, which y'all have to re-sign Brandon Sheriff at the end of the year because his contract is up. He's one of y'all cores on that offensive line. And then you got a young Logan Thomas. I understand the torn ACL done for the year, but he's still a up and coming tight end in this league. And Derek Carr could really help out with that. With Washington football team. But me personally, I'm loving Taylor Heinicke. I'm sorry. I'm just loving Taylor Heinicke. He's young. He came from nothing and he's turning out to turn his team around, especially with this losing streak. This defense is behind him. And I would love for y'all to go get Carr, but I don't want y'all to take the back seat to Taylor Heinicke and his improvement, even though that he almost beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. But y'all started off slow. But now y'all back in the hunt in the NFC East. So it's just like, if he makes the playoffs again, you see that consistency. And I don't know if you still want to go after Carr after that.
Yeah, and like you said, and he got plenty of time to kind of prove himself too. And I like a lot of ours was more so like in the beginning of the season, maybe like in the preseason, because remember we were looking at Ryan Fitzpatrick as like that solution, and we didn't think that Taylor would be in this predicament starting from pretty much from midway in the second quarter to now to present day. So he was always like that quarterback on the shelf. If we had a situation where we had a quarterback that was hurt and he'll come in and spot duty for like maybe 4 or 5 games while the quarterback heals or what have you. But now he's he's now the starter for the rest of the year. And then, and potentially in 2022. So, yeah, a lot of it is just, the timing of it and just how everything just plays out. And
Right.
yeah, so that was he was a guy that was on our wish list per se. But yeah, so we always talk about the Raiders. We on the show we want to do our previews. We always think about this time of year. We always think about like November, December. We always
Mhm.
look at the Raiders as a team that's really good in the beginning of the season. They kind of turn your heads with some wins here or there. But then, but when the clock strikes November, December, we look at this team as like they always, they find ways to lose. So,
Right.
and this is what almost like the third year in a row of this, essentially.
Yeah,
Pretty
it
much.
it is. It is, and I think
Yeah.
out of these third years in a row, this is one of the worst years
Yeah.
that we went on this stretch in December and I mean November and December. The for if you want to be honest, if you look at John Gruden was really had this team together in the beginning of the year until the email thing came out, and everything just fell apart there because Carr loved John Gruden. I wasn't a big fan of him as a fan, but if your quarterback loves his head coach, then that's what it was. And then now you had the Damon Arnett situation where we lost Damon Arnett, where he waving guns on social media, and then now you had Henry Ruggs and the car accident. It was just so much to bear. I thought I mean we bounced back off the Denver game against John Gruden, but once the Damon Arnett and Henry Ruggs thing, and we had to travel to New York with
Yep.
that on our minds,
Yep.
it just changed the whole aspect of the season. I think for real, for me personally, I think the Raiders checked out in that game. Carr didn't look his best. His number one receiver was Henry Ruggs. You bring in a Deshaun Jackson that's a little bit older, but he's not really implement into the offense. It's a lot of things that happen. You got to make now. Greg Olsen got a call to plays, and you see it's still looking conservative. Then I didn't understand why Gus Bradley didn't become head coach, and you make a special team coach and Rich Pisaccia as your head coach,
Yeah.
which I didn't understand that Gus Bradley's been a head coach in this league. Ron Millinari has been a head coach in this league, and he's on this staff. So I'm just not understanding why those two did not take it, the head coaching position. And now Rich Pisaccia is a laid back older guy that doesn't put players under fire. They did say in his presser that he did call out Derick Carr about for the throws and stuff like that. Josh Jacobs called out his team. This is just so much dysfunction right now. I think this is out of the 3 years that we have had this slump. This is the worst year that we had this slump with so much going on. Dysfunctional.
Yeah, and shout out to Derek Carr. I think he's been what as far as everything that's going on as far. And I
Mhm.
think that's one of the kind of reason when we looked at him like definitely like midseason, like as far as how the press conferences and how he's been not supportive, but just having a mature take on what's going on with this team. Obviously, with the
Mhm.
Aaron Ruggs situation, I think he handled it very well. Like because a lot of people, we just know how it all how it is. You know,
Right.
he showed empathy for both parties and he understood the nature of it. And
Right.
so that's one of the things I really like a guy like him, which is that's why it really shocks me, like as far as like that type of stuff. That should have gravitated like to a point where you would run through a brick wall for him. The way he said some those comments, I was just really
Raiders fans feel like Derek Carr's not a leader. Like,
I'm just like
I don't understand it. I don't
I'm
get it.
like and that's the first thing I seen there leader. That's the when I seen that Derek Carr, he's spoken obviously on a lot of issues
Mhm.
throughout the years, and I've always looked at him as a guy that was very mature and very just very well spoken leader in almost leadership qualities. I seen that in him, so
Yeah.
it's definitely interesting. So I got one more question for you, D Hop. Now I'm obviously I'm a Richmond, Virginia guy. I'm born and raised. I'm
Mhm.
always champion my local guys.
Right.
What in the hell is going on with Clelin Ferrell in Las Vegas? What's going on? What y'all doing to my boy?
Well, I don't know what Gus Bradley is doing to him, in my opinion. I know when we brought in Yannick Ngakwe, I knew uh that Cleveland Farrell was going to be lost in the sauce.
Hmm.
Um at the defensive end situation. Now, when I had my projections, I had Clelin Ferrell starting at D tackle over starting at D end because he's a great run stopper. He's not good against the pass, but he's great against the run. So I really wanted Yannick and Crosby on the inside. I mean, on the outside because those two is not great against the run. But if you put like a Jonathan Hankins and Clelin Ferrell or a Quentin Jefferson and a Clelin Ferrell or vice versa, you might have something there. But now the Raiders is just making him a rotational player, and you're not getting the best out of him, even though that he was on the trading block during the trade deadline, and nobody really didn't want to pick up his contract because his contract is a bit expensive. But I mean, I don't know what the Raiders are doing with him. He's a talent that can get to, like he could get to the quarterback, but I think he could get to the quarterback being inside instead of outside. In my opinion, I think he's a great talent, but he went from being a starter to a rotational player. I just don't understand it. I wish I could tell you. I have no clue.
I know, and I think my attendance kind of went up against the Raiders in Monday Night Football. He was a healthy scratch,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, what's going on?
I didn't understand the healthy scratch part.
Yeah,
It's the Las Vegas Raiders, man. Like we
yeah,
went from being a very loyal fan base in Oakland to being a circus at Allegiant Stadium. When I tell you, bro, it was more Washington football team fans than it was Raiders fans. And you could
yes,
tell because even though that we on offense and they trying to get the fans to quiet down, you heard those Washington football team fans yelling and rowling and all that while we were on offense. So it tells like Allegiant Stadium, I understand is Las Vegas is a beautiful state. It is beautiful to be there, but it's just not what the Raiders are.
yeah, and it's funny because you say that because the first thing I always thought about when especially when the thought of the Raiders going to Vegas, I like they're never going to have a home field advantage anymore
Yeah.
because you're in a tourist city, and think about it. It's them people, people up in Northern Virginia, whatever, they can go from Dulles to Vegas, a straight flight, really
Mm-hmm.
cheap. And any team, like you think about any team, like if you playing any team that travels well, except for maybe the Chargers, for
Right.
the most part.
That's the
But
only
in
I think that's the
theory,
only thing for the Raiders that we do sell out the Charger Stadium. We do it all the
right,
time.
right. But other than that, I mean, that's like I don't like versus being in Oakland where the black hole where everybody came out.
Yeah.
It was really like a home field advantage to the T. But yeah, yeah, it's just it's crazy how, like you said, as far as the transition from Oakland to Vegas and kind of seeing what's going
It's
on
a
with that.
beautiful
But
stadium, don't get me
oh
wrong, but
yeah,
it just don't have a Raider feel. Like
yeah,
you want to have a club at the end of an end zone and all the extra stuff that comes with a League Stadium. It just don't feel like Raiders football. And I got a feeling that when it comes to the players, they don't feel that home field advantage. That's why we struggle at home and we play better away for some reason.
yeah, big time. So once again, man, appreciate you for coming on. Talking some Raider talk with us, D Hop. Appreciate it.
Listen, you can always have me on, man. Like I
I
don't care if
got you.
it's NFL
Yeah,
picks or
we go.
whatever.
Yeah,
Just
we go.
just hit me up. Just let me know when and what time,
No
and
doubt.
I'll definitely pull up because I just don't talk
I
Raiders, man. I
I
talk
got you.
everything else.
Yeah, we'll probably do some stuff for the Super Bowl and whatever or the playoffs. Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
we in there, no
Yeah,
doubt.
definitely, no
I got you,
problem, man.
fam. I got you, bro. Absolutely. And before you head out, D Hop, social media plug what you got. What you got going on?
I do have a second channel called the Spotlight Sports Network. We are in a partnership with another network called ASAP All Sports All Plays. You can follow us on YouTube at Spotlight Sports Network. My personal channel, which is the Raiders channel, is Spotlight Raiders Talk. Instagram Spotlight Raiders Talk, Twitter Spotlight RN Talk. And basically that's it. You go find us on Spotlight Sports Network, SL Sports Network on Instagram, SL Sports Network on Twitter. We talk all sports there. So that's basically what we got going on at this moment.
Yep. All right, appreciate you, D Hop, and we'll talk with you. We'll definitely get some cooking
Oh,
for the
listen, it's all love, man.
postseason.
Y'all
Yes,
family,
sir.
man.
Oh
Listen,
yeah,
Raiders
yeah.
all love.
It's all love.
Y'all enjoy this win, and you know, I'm
Hey.
y'all hold up. Y'all not on the bye this week, right?
No, man, we play Dallas. It's Dallas week, bro.
Come on, get on Dallas. I'm taking Washington
Right.
football team. I'm calling booking it now. Washington football
Hey.
team beats Dallas.
Appreciate that. I'll holler at you.
All right, brother.
All
See you
right,
later.
Man. Appreciate you, man. All right.